Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 12 of the Six-Sided Podcast. Once again, I'm your host, the Taxman, and I'm going to go ahead and dub this one the lost episode of the Six-Sided Podcast. Essentially, I had recorded some audio with Jimmy, and in the midst of my moving into the new house and setting up a recording space and yada yada yada, I had misplaced it and couldn't find it for the life of me, and whatever. Kind of went by the wayside. I was all flipped out about it and ended up finding it, thank goodness, because I think it's a tremendous piece of audio, to be quite frank. And I had talked about, I'm going to say again, about 2 weeks ago on Twitter that I was going to miss an episode. Do I want to do a recap of a couple of impacts or not? And that would have meant that I would have broken up the audio that I had recorded with Jimmy, and I think it makes sense to have it all as one piece of audio, because there are things that we talked about when we recorded this 2 weeks ago that are coming to fruition now and are in certain aspects of it. And we talked a little bit of Bobby Lashley, and we all saw the disaster that happened this week with transvestites playing his sister or whatever the fuck that nonsense was. Pardon my language, but it was an absolute travesty in my opinion. We were talking about him as well. We kind of went on a bit of a journey, if you will. So rather than split that audio up into 3 segments and do 3 impact reviews, I thought it best to just maybe leave the impact reviews alone for this time and just do the audio that Jimmy and myself had recorded, because I think it's, first off, I think it's really good, and he's a super insightful dude, and I really did appreciate him coming on. And second off, like I said, I think it's more pertinent now even than it was when we had recorded it 3 weeks ago. So I'm going to keep that in its entirety. So this is going to be quite the departure from what I've normally been doing for the Six-Sided Podcast, as you can imagine. Also, as such, at the end of the show, I'm going to talk about the direction that I want this show to go. I'm going to be looking for a lot of feedback on that, and I'm going to get into that again at the end of the show after my segment with Jimmy. And I just want to talk a little bit about that before we get into it as well. So originally, you'll remember 3 weeks ago, or it might be 4 now, because I'm kind of lost in my schedule of thoughts, if you will, when Su Yung effectively buried, not in terms of booking, but in terms of character-wise, Rosemary, threw in the casket and took her away to potentially never be seen again. As soon as that happened, Jimmy had messaged me on Twitter, and he was like, dude, you gotta have me on for that Su Yung segment. And I was like, yes I do, because I know the kind of guy that he is, and he was going to have a ton of insight in it, and I really wanted to get into an in-depth discussion. So originally our idea was that we were going to do about a 20-minute bit, if you will, just on that segment. Well, 2 great wrestling minds, I'm going to put myself over a little bit there, but Jimmy is for sure, got together, and we ended up going an hour just on Impact in general, the direction the company was in, where it's going, what we like to see. We talked about people who have come in, people who have left, and what's been happening with them, case in point, the Bobby Lashley stuff. So it just kind of snowballed, and once again, it's a really great insight into the minds of actual Impact Wrestling fans. And I know I've been critical sometimes about the product, not in a bad way and not in a way to just shit on it, but in an objective way. So I think that it's good to at least have a venue of discussion like this that we had where it's 2 fans talking about something that they're passionate about, and I really do hope that it translates through the audio for you guys, because honestly, we were having a blast. We were laughing the whole time, and it was one of the most fun experiences I've ever had. So that's kind of what the backstory is in regards to this audio, and that's kind of why I wanted to, like I said, forego the usual layout of this show and just kind of have our discussion play out all at once. So before I get into that, I need to be the bearer of bad news to a certain point, And I need to send my heartfelt condolences, thoughts, and prayers out to one of my best friends. He was a guest on the show. You guys will remember from a few episodes ago, Hollywood Southern Dandy unfortunately lost his father Tuesday morning unexpectedly. So from myself, obviously, I send all my thoughts and prayers to the family. I hope you guys will just, if you've listened to that episode, just take a minute, keep him and his family in your thoughts, and it's life's too short, you know what I mean? And I don't know what else I can say other than that, and just my thoughts and prayers are with you, brother, 100%, you know that, so not to be an absolute downer, I did want to make sure that I got that off there. I do, however, have a couple of people I need to give a quick shout out to before I get going any further, and that's a couple of new YouTube subscribers that we've had in the past little minute here. So we had RSK17, James Proco, and Chuck P, and I'm missing a couple of others. I believe that you are set to private profile, so I can't give you a shout out on here, though if you send me a message, I will be happy to give you a plug on the show. So with all that being said, I know we have a lot to get to, and this is going to be a long show, so good thing that there is the ever wonderful pause button, if you will. So if you need it, take a break, grab a drink, whatever else, but I'm going to throw right now to my interview with Jimmy. So we've reached our main event segment this evening, and to help me out in this one, I got my man Jimmy from Twitter. Jimmy, how you doing, bro?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you very much. I had put out a tweet that I hadn't watched the program as of yet. This was last week, and you tweeted me right away, and you were like, bro, you gotta let me on for the for the Rosemary Sue Young segment, so definitely had to get you on this one, so I'm very happy to have you joining me here.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
So I'm going to ask you basically three thoughts. First off, what you thought of the segment, what your expectations were coming into it, and just your overall view of the presentation.
Just how it happened, I was like, oh my god. Like, I was just shocked on what happened. And to see Sue Young get this type of push is good. I like that. And I feel like how Rosemary to Allie say away did not come. He still came to save her. It's like you have to go a good sway to it. And I like how Sue Young had her drones come to her aid, and just helped her to get Rosemary buried. And I love how she gave Rosemary the panic switch 2 times on the TV. That was cool. And it's kind of awesome to see Allie look like afraid and not knowing what to do. But I'm kind of confused because these drones only move when Sue Young said move. So they just standing there for a whole 5 minutes while Sue Young get tackled. Most maybe. And I think I carry for too long because it's like, okay, now what is next?
Yeah, exactly.
Events, means it's awesome. Like no companies do not have the guts to do that. You know what I mean?
No, nobody does. Not even close.
Yeah, and those other companies do not do what Impact with.
Oh, I have to agree 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. Like I felt like watching Kane and Taker back in the days. You know what I mean? Like Kane, Taker, head to head. That's how I felt watching this. It's like that old, way back type of feel. I was saying, it's cool, it's awesome.
And you don't see, because this is a very much like a supernatural kind of way of presentation. You don't really see that in professional wrestling at all, period, anymore. And really, like you're saying, the last time was Kane and Undertaker.
Yeah, like, it's awesome. It's like, wow, is that Impact is doing this? Like people talk about how the WWE is doing all the good stuff, Marcy and blah blah, but come on, this stuff, what Impact doing is bringing that. Like, it's just awesome. It's different. Like, it's like a movie that you see right in your eyes. You know, like two big demons. But like when people online were pissed over, like, you see how too long it's getting pushed too fast. I'm like, really? She's not getting pushed that fast. It's like you can't put Impact to have new people and new stars, right? Rosemary is the face of the company, but she's not doing much. So don't let her go for a while, and then she come back when she's ready, and then you're going to a big field.
See, for me, this is a big one of those. As Jim Cornette would say, how the fuck can I miss you if you don't go away? Because Rosemary is so popular, nobody else in the Knockouts division is going to get that over. They can't. But if you have her go away for a while, and now you have a monster heel, demon, whatever you want to call her, in Su Yung, now you can build that story, right? You can work it in that for a few weeks she's off TV, and you can have Su Yung, I don't know, come out and make mention of it, or torment Allie, or whatever she does. But there's a ton of building blocks that were set up in this one segment, and a lot of people don't realize that because everybody's so focused on short term, like, I want my payoff this week. Well, no, this is a long term thing here, and especially something like this with two extremely dynamic and unique characters. Like, you can't have your payoff in 2 weeks. It doesn't make sense. They need to be able to build this thing, and I think the way they did it was incredible. Like,
exactly, like, you said it perfect. Long-term booking, like, nobody does long-term booking good like Impact. So I feel like right now that whole segment could be done at the final payoff at Bound for Glory next year. You know what I mean? So.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so like I feel like, let's say next 8 months or in 5 months, right? Allie might be a heel, or both may come back as a heel and attack Allie. Say you call this or something. You know what I mean? So
exactly.
Different things that can happen. So I'm excited. You know, it's cool. Like, those who not watching Impact right now, I feel bad for them.
For me, this segment was, and I don't know if anybody had caught it, but I did a live podcast, or a live cast, sorry, with Robert from Robert Does Wrestling last week, and I had brought up on his show that I was a little bit worried about this match, that I thought that they were going to have one of these women lose, and I had made the point that you can't have anybody take a pin here. It can't happen. But I did not expect that they were going to do this, and this was like so far and above my expectations of the direction that they would go. It's truly incredible, and that the panic switch off the stage, like, bro, that was fucking dynamite. Like,
yo, I was shocked. I'm like, oh no, she can't do this, and boom, it happens. You know what I mean? Like,
I thought that they were gonna cheap out and just do it on the runway. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then when she lifts her up, I'm like, oh shit! Like, there's no way, right? And then yeah, bro, that was crazy. I couldn't believe it.
Like, for me, it's like I was shocked that Impact actually did this so fast. I'm like, wow. And the fact that they did it that quickly, it made me better. So now I can't wait to see what happens when Rosemary comes back. Because now I say, okay, what's going to happen? Is he going to come for revenge on Allie or Su Yung? There's so many things that Allie really can go in his own storyline. It's going to be amazing. Like, and I think that right now, with Su Yung, the way how they booking her is perfect. This new badass chick who just came out of nowhere. Like, it's so awesome. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like you don't have enough of that right now. Everything in period.
And once again, like, there's really no other company that is, or that has characters as strong as this, right? You don't see, every company has great wrestlers. I'm not saying that's not the case, but what I am saying is that there's a lack of developed characters that when you look at them, you know, okay, this person is blank, or this person is here for blank. Right, with Su Yung, you take one look at her and you know that, okay, this chick's got something wrong, right? Like she looks very macabre or whatever. Instead of just looking at and I'll just throw it out there, like any run-of-the-mill knockout. Not that any of them are run-of-the-mill per se, but a lot of other talents and other promotions don't have a defined character, and I feel like her character is something that is just so mind-blowing, and now you can really have a chance to exploit it if you're Impact with the way that you could book in the future. Now you essentially have, and like you're saying, 3 or a trio of angles coming out of this, or a triangle of angles actually, because you could go Su Yung and Allie now, right? And then, like, exactly like you said, when Rosemary comes back, well, what's she gonna do? Is she gonna go after Su Yung because that's who put her out? Or does she flip the script and go after Allie because she told Allie to stay out of it, right? There's so many different things that could come out of this one powerful segment. And I know you had brought up the point, Jimmy, that people were complaining online, and I don't get it. To me, it's just like, what is here that you could possibly complain about?
For me, it's like, because when they have to, right? They say, oh, how Impact does not care about Rosemary. I'm like, guys, see the top babyface. How could they care about Rosemary? It's the reason why they put her against Su Yung. The top babyface is going to get the next top heel. So it makes sense. Like, I don't understand. Because we all know Rosemary hasn't been on TV that much because she's injured. So maybe she needs more time off. So I don't understand why people are bitching and complaining. It's like, guys, they need more knockouts right now. And the bitching is not that big. It's in a rocket size. So Su Yung comes in, she can do too much for the time now. So frankly, complaining about it, like, guys, it's a TV show. Relax.
And then the other part of it is like because. Like, you can have Rosemary on the shelf, and she's just going to get more over because people want to see her return, right?
Exactly.
She can't, like, Rosemary cannot come back if they don't have somebody established as a monster opponent. Because it's a waste. Mm-hmm. Like, she couldn't come back and say face just as a random name like ODB, for example, because it doesn't make sense. You know, like, you could almost name really like Amber Nova, for example, or whatever, right? Like, she needs to come back, like, and Rosemary is a star. Let's not get it twisted. Like, she is a legitimate star, right? So she needs to be able to come back and have a credible star opponent. And the way you get that is exactly the way that they went. And with the Su Yung character, and just like, now you can take however long Rosemary's going to take to get healed, and I'm not sure what they've said. I try not to read online a whole lot, but however long she's out for, or however long these tapings are, or however you want to say it, that gives you now ample time for Su Yung to be a monster opponent. Then you have the people's favorite come back in Rosemary, and then you can really hit the ground running on a hot angle with this one.
Exactly. That means that it's perfect. See, like, you said it in the best way. Give her time to come back, so people can be ready for it. Be happy. Oh my gosh, you're back. Big pop. Like, I know people tend to hate on the Impact zone or not, but when she comes on, they always demon the hive, like that she has her coat on it. Like they love her in the Empire Zone. So it's like, come on, guys, you know she's gonna come back, and she does. The guys are gonna go crazy. So relax. You know what I mean?
See, I've been pretty critical of the Impact Zone, and I will say that every single time that Rosemary comes out, she gets a pop, regardless.
Yes. You see them? They had the paint.
Oh yeah, there's so many people with their faces painted.
Yeah, it's a Halloween.
Yeah, it legitimately is. But again, because she's such a strong character and she's so dynamic and so different, it's almost more relatable than an everyday wrestler. It doesn't make it shouldn't make sense, but it does. You know, but that's the way that this company has to go. They have to be dynamic. They have to have strong characters that mean something, and they have to make a presentation wildly different. Well, not wildly, but quite different from anything else out there. And this segment is exactly the way that they need to go, in my opinion.
Exactly. Like, you will see that type of stuff in the other company. Because right now, they have Bailey, Sasha Banks in Summer 9. That made no sense. They're nothing cool. They have Camilla and Charlotte. Okay, that's nothing.
Yeah, but good lord. And fucking Charlotte's going to carry that one. Jesus Christ.
Exactly. You know what I mean? So there's nothing deep in there. And not only that, too, remember, Impact has a good knockout wrestler, but half of the talent are injured, right? Tiana is injured. So she's gone, too. So too long, it's the best way to have a monster here, a top here, for that company now. You know what I mean? Like, Allie is a face, Tessa Bancher, Doug Kinnan, and she did her thing. And worse. That's it.
Yeah, essentially, because you don't have too much right now down the pipe. Although I've heard they're bringing in a couple of names, but I mean, obviously they're not on this set of tapings. But yeah, there's really not very much outside of like the enhancement ones, you know, like. But yeah, it's they have the building blocks. They just need to get there, essentially.
Yeah, exactly. And Trophy. Want to see Sienna back?
Oh, yeah, too. So what do you do with Sienna now? I know we're going on a bit of a tangent here, but this is a good talking point. So Sienna left as a heel. Have you seen her stuff on Twitter lately?
Oh, Sienna is amazing. She's funny.
When she does the roasts, you see that?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. You know what? I think Sienna could be a face.
Yeah, I could see that. Legitimately, yeah. She has that... She has the, what's the word I'm looking for? I can't think of the proper word, but essentially, she could be one of those, like, the sarcastic, like, jokers, you know what I mean? And would be able to pull that off, like... It's comedy, not in a ha-ha way, but comedy as in, like, make you think, oh, and by the way, I'm going to kick your ass in the ring. Like, I really think that she, as a character and as a performer, could pull something like that off.
Yeah, Sienna could be like the female Eli Drake.
Yeah, I can see that.
You know how Eli Drake said dummy, yeah? And people say, yeah, dummy, yeah. Like, he's not a cool heel, but he's that, yeah.
But he can talk, bro. He can talk, like, it's incredible.
Yeah, but he got his money. You know what I mean?
So, I guess, what do you want to see coming out in the near future with, we'll start with Su Yung and then we'll move on a bit. So, what direction do you want to see them take Su Yung in the next few episodes here?
For me personally, I think they should continue what they're doing with Su Yung, make her seem like this type of evil demon just a crazy dark chick who will kidnap you, bury you, and take you away.
Yeah, I have to agree. Yeah, just developing her as, like, you have no idea what she's going to do week in and week out, I think is the way to go, definitely, with her. So, do you think,
I think that,
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying that she makes too young, you kidnap any knockout, and just have like this random winnings.
See, I'm trying to think of an angle that's similar to that, but there's not really been an angle similar to that.
Yeah, let's kidnap people and just like your mind or something. Let's kidnap them and like this have them be like her kidnappers, right? Because she has her drones, right? So her drones could come in, attack people, and they just take them away.
See, I'd like to see them develop that relationship a little bit. Why are the drones there? Or what is the purpose, right?
Yes.
And like you had made the point, they kind of seem to move on her direction. So I kind of want to see if they move by her direction, what direction she makes them move, if that makes sense. Does she send them after people to interfere in a match? Does she just have them as an intimidation factor? Does she have them kidnap somebody like you're mentioning and take them away, kicking and screaming if you were? And what a visual that would be, right? If you're watching a match and you see, and the lights go out and that music hits and the drones come down and you're like, okay, what is going on, right? And then they're hauling a knockout, kicking and screaming away. Like, that's just an insane visual for me.
Exactly. That's perfect. You know what I mean? Like I can't wait to see what they're gonna do with that, because it should be kind of fun to watch.
And then what do you think of, what do you want to see happen with the title picture? Do you want to see Allie carry it for a while, or I guess she doesn't really have a choice almost, because there's not that much in the roster right now because they're all hurt, but...
Man, the title... So after Gail Kim won the title and retired, what's her name?
Laurel Von Ness.
Yes.
Because she held it after that, yeah.
And NAF. She's fine. But it's a piece to me that I want her back. Because I feel like she and She Young will have a great athletic. You know what I mean? The gimmicks are different, but it'll be kind of unique.
Well, because they're both... her character was insane. Just of a different style, if you will, but... Yeah, that could have been an interesting dynamic. Yeah, it's too bad she split, but I don't know what happened there. Because she didn't really go anywhere either. She just kind of doing her thing on the independents. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think for the title wise, I feel like Allie might have to defend the title. Maybe at the next pay-per-view or maybe at the next taping. But that title, it might change. It might change a bit. It's fine because it shows that, they're giving people chances, to win the title to show what they can do. And right now, Allie is in the top female, right? Top face. So it's not a big loss. It's this title, right? So
yeah, you're almost in a spot where you kind of have to run with her as your top face and the title holder for a bit, at least until you can build up. Either you can build up credible competition, or some of these other knockouts start coming off the DL, and they can just kind of hop in. And then once again, I have a feeling that you're going to see Impact in like 8 or 9 months all of a sudden have like a plethora of knockouts. Because I have a feeling that they are not done signing, for one. And then the other one is, yeah, you're going to get your Rosemary back. You're going to get Sienna back. Maybe you bring somebody back from the past. Like, what if Madison Rayne comes back, for example? Like, these are... And especially, like, during Redemption, when Tessa Blanchard came out and was on the mic with Don Callis and Josh Matthews there, and she was kind of giving it to Josh Matthews, and Madison Rayne was on Twitter shooting tweets at Tessa Blanchard like, oh, you're going to talk to my husband like that? Like, could you imagine if she would come back and those two would get in a feud? Like, that would be incredible too.
That's money. Yeah, like, I'll say in next 6 months, next 6 months, Tessa Blanchard will be champion somehow. I think so.
Yeah, I have to agree. She has, well, a world of talent, first off, but, like, again, you're building a company on different, or characters that stand out and are different, right? And, like, you don't see a third-generation female wrestler ever, and that's what you have in her, so you almost can't get more diverse in a locker room as they have right now and are going to have in the near future when everybody comes back. Like, I just feel like they're really set up to do really, really good things in the Knockouts division for sure.
Definitely. And I feel like once Tyler and John Impact are finished with the winning, then she might come back and get a title too.
Yeah, I could see that. And she's another one too that, although I'm not thrilled with how they've booked her, to be honest. Yeah, just the Kiera Hogan thing, and there's another one we didn't even mention is Kiera Hogan. What do you do with her, right? But and she's another one too where it's like, they booked her so weak against Laurel Von Ness, and then she had a little bit of whatever with Taya lately, and I guess we'll see what happens with her going forward. But yeah, they got a wealth of riches coming down the pipeline. Anyways, they just got to showcase them properly. I think is the biggest thing, and then booking really is what it's going to come down to.
Yes, and I think that we forgot one key person. We forgot that girl from Alex. What's his name? Demente?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, Diamante. Or Diamante. Yes. Sorry, Diamante. Yeah, could you imagine, like, not a... I can't call it Survivor Series, obviously, because that name is with the WWE, but could you imagine a Survivor Series style match where you have LAX with Diamante, and then you have another faction with, like, whoever, and another star knockout? Would just be, like, such an interesting dynamic and an interesting way to go about things. Like, for example, if they brought in Jessica Havoc and she was paired with OVE and those groups had something, like, that would be an incredible matchup.
Yep, that is happening. I don't know who, but somehow Impact has to get Havoc back because OVE needs a female. They need a female. Need a female in that whole season. Right now, everything what they're doing now is great, but they're missing a female right now.
Yeah, I have to agree. I think, like, that would just put them... What they have now is such a great dynamic. That would just put them over the top. You know what I mean? Like, it's just one of those... It's rounding out your roster is what it is. And it's just a more diverse and presentable product. And, like, oh shit, she's back now? Well, now, not only are the tag division not safe, not only is the singles division not safe, but now the Knockouts division isn't safe from these guys, right? And girl if she comes in, like it just a super neat, super interesting dynamic for sure.
I don't know if you watched the show Saturday on Twitch. They had a match with Havoc and Tana, and that's a great match. And then I saw them talking on social media, and Havoc's like, we need to do this again. So bring her back into the fold, and find a way that she can be annihilated or be in the kid. Because right now, Sandy Kennington is doing a great job. OBO doing a great job. Right now, those guys are crazy. Those guys are maniacs right now. You know what I mean? They're crazy. Like Eddie, Sammy have the crazy ass food going on.
That's a feud of the year. It's not even close.
Oh yeah, yeah, it's true. It's true. That is true, man. And I said, Eddie might from here. How feeling?
Yeah, I mean that. I just want to see where it goes. You know what I mean?
Crazy, like right now, Impact is. I know people hate Impact for many reasons, but the company is doing some great stuff right now. It looks like that Pop TV is so tiny, so they're reaching a tiny fraction of the audience.
Yeah, but then you look at the Twitch channel, and they've been averaging what, 300,000 or so on Twitch, like just an incredible number.
How much?
I thought that they were averaging about 300,000 on Twitch. I could be wrong, but like I know that Lucha Underground did the duel show. Like that one was incredible. They did a huge number for that one, and like I didn't personally get to see the one on Saturday. I was too busy moving into the new house here, but I heard that show was really good too, and drew a pretty good number. So, but they're really the only company that's capitalizing on the different social media platforms, and then again, you figure in them partnering with all these different companies to present a different product. Every single time you're getting fresh matchups. Like all these one night onlys, you're going to see people who aren't on Impact Television weekly. So you don't run through your roster as fast. Now you can create fresh matchups, and if it's something really good and people want to see it again, then you can look at bringing them in and having a series of matches or a feud or a storyline or however you want to term it on Impact itself.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I feel like with them doing a good connections to Lucha Underground, Triple A, and the companies, it's just that they open. It's not like it's me against you, it's us. You know, it's
yes.
Us, it's a team.
Yes.
You know, it's a teamwork.
That's why I like their, and I know it sounds cheesy, and I brought this topic up on Robert's show as well, but they have the slogan right now, "We are Impact." Well, what they're trying to do now is, while it's still a smaller fan base, and let's be honest, it is still kind of a niche product for now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now is where you want to build that sense of community, so your fans are involved and they actually give a shit about the product that they're watching, right? You know, I don't know if you've ever seen or ever done the surveys that they do every Thursday after the episodes, but these are ways that they're getting their fans involved and interactive, and a way to really build their fan base. So when they go on tour, for example, when they go to your city, you're probably going to go, hey, I want to go to that show. I'm going to bring a homie A, B, and C, right? And then and it builds on itself, and that's how you kind of feed into the monster. So
yeah, they're smart, because they're trying to make the whole company feel new again.
Yes.
You know, I know it's cool to say TNA, because when people still have their old connection to the old company on the TNA, but on Impact is different, right? You know what I mean? So for me, like I watched Impact or TNA for a decade off and on, but now it's different. So TNA trying to do different, trying to do new things. You know what I mean? So for me, I can't complain.
Yes.
You know?
And you can feel it now. Like you can actually like quantifiably feel that it's different, much more different than it's been almost ever, even since its inception, really.
Exactly. I think that if people wanna, I think people should give Impact a next chance. Don't give it a chance, you know. Watch it for a while, you know. Let you know who's in the company and stop bashing the company, you know what I mean? Like, just stop bashing the company. It's pretty stupid, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's why you hate almost to see on Twitter that, and you've seen it. I see it all the time. That people, Impact is dead or TNA is dead. Well, TNA is dead because that's not the company anymore. But the fact is, like, there's still so many people who were turned off from it so long ago, and I'm like, no, man, like, just watch 2 weeks. If you're not hooked in 2 episodes, which is actually less than sitting through basically 1 episode of that other Monday night show, I guarantee you're going to be a lot more entertained than you would be on any other given Monday night, if you will, if you catch my drift there. But
oh man, Monday night sucked. Tuesday night is decent, but for me, like I watch it right now. Change channel. That's it. The Impact, I can watch it and be actually happy with what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? Like yes, Impact goes and comes, but they can get new talent and make me feel bigger. Like look at Brian Cage.
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, like they lost Bar Lashley, but they got Brian Cage. You know what I mean? They lost EC3, they got Pentagon Junior or Pentagon Doc. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't say anything bad about company. Like they actually doing good stuff.
And it's funny, like for years you've heard those people, quote unquote, clamoring, EC3 should go to the WWE or Lashley should go back to the WWE or whatever, right? So I wasn't going to bring this point up. I was going to save it for a different episode, but because you brought it up, I'm going to say it now. So I'll run you down a list real quick here of all the talents recently that have gone from Impact to WWE. And if I'm missing somebody, feel free to chime in or whatever, but so you have, first off, the Hardys, right? So they get in there, they win the titles and do nothing. And then they split them up, and then Jeff is the U.S. champ right now, which doesn't mean anything because that title is so tarnished. And Matt's in a meaningless tag team with Bray Wyatt. They get booted out of the building every week. Like, terrible. Then you have Drew Galloway, who's in a meaningless tag team with Dolph Ziggler. Then you have EC3, who's, we'll be honest, is probably never going to go anywhere in NXT. And then you have Bobby Lashley, who's doing goddamn people's interest pieces, and he's fucking sitting there smiling and shit. Like, what is that?
I seen that in our pitch because I seen Bray actually. I saw him 2 times in Toronto. For indie show, and I saw him at Baffin Glory. And for the past 5 years on Impact, he has been a badass. A badass dude who beats up people, who not laughing. He talks, beats you up, and that's it. Now it's like he talk about his sisters and some crap. I'm like, what? and then they got him being like a second fiddle to Braun Strowman. I'm like, what? I'm like, this is not Lashley. This is not Rocket at the beginning.
No, like, this is the...
It's a joke.
No, and this is the last guy that you want to see now get in a wrestling ring because now he looks too nice.
Exactly.
Like, when he was in Impact, bro, when he had that title reign, he was destroying people. Like...
Anybody.
Yeah, everybody, yeah. But there's a way that you can have somebody run through a roster and it doesn't get old, right? Because he's so good in the ring. But now it's like, good Lord. Like, did you really bring him in to do nothing with him? Like, the guy's an incredible talent, and that's what you're going to do?
Like, the scene that made me laugh is that last year, they said, oh, we want Lashley back. They get Lashley, they say, oh, Lashley sucks. Lashley has no commitment, Lashley has no personality. And I'm like, you guys got him back. And you guys are bitching now? I'm like, wow.
But that's... yeah, I don't understand the whole turning on somebody right away like that. You've been for years, and like, I'll be honest, I had fallen out of wrestling for quite a while there because I was very fed up with the way it was going, and I came back a couple of years ago, and then that was like when Lashley was on that big run in TNA Impact, and even then people were like, oh, we got to get him back in WWE. He like, that was when he was still competing with Bellator at the same time. And now look, it's just like, oh, well, you guys sure gave up on him pretty quick, like.
Yeah, it's like Pokemon. They catch somebody and done. You know what I mean?
Yeah, bro, like, really.
It's like every week they want somebody new to come to the roster, and then are we done? Nah, we ain't want them. For example, they got mad because Taxman started Impact, and I'm like, what the hell? I'm like, Jacob has a chance to be on national TV, make some money, and and get new fans. So why are you mad if he's on Impact?
I'm gonna go on a limb right now and say that she's gonna make way more money with Impact than she ever would getting jobbed in WWE, 100%. Mm-hmm. And they would never bring her in there anyways because they're trying to push that Charlotte's the greatest generational wrestler of all time, right? So why would you bring somebody else in who's a third generation wrestler now? You know, it goes against their whole revisionist theory paradigm that they have going.
Yeah, they have it bad. It's like Charlotte is good, but she's not that great. I feel like she is very overrated. They boost her up so much.
She's a good, she's a really good worker and a great mechanic. Just, I don't know what it is. It's like they try and they try too much to make her like her dad. Where I feel like she could, yeah, obviously you're going to use the name and you're going to use some of the mannerisms, but like when they have her out there doing the Ric Flair strut and it looks so forced, and I'm like, why? She's an incredible athlete. Why are you making her do something that's been done before?
Exactly. Like, it's like what you don't have no characters. Like Charlotte doesn't have a character. Yeah, she's the queen, but that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
well, yeah, but and it's not just her. It's like, who of their champions right now are a character?
Right now.
Like, can you name one? Like, if you're struggling, you probably can't name one. You know what I mean? But that's the thing.
I'll probably say Carmella.
Well, yeah, and like, Jesus. If she's your gold standard for a character in your television show, you are fucked. Like, that's fucking terrible.
Exactly, because Nia Jax, as a character, I guess Nia Jax is some big girl.
But again, what's her thing? She's the biggest girl on the roster, and she's complains she gets bullied. Like, what the fuck is this shit? Like, who books this shit? Like, if she's the biggest girl on the roster, why isn't she pulling an Awesome Kong and fucking murdering people? You know what I mean? Like,
Exactly.
oh god.
Hey, I don't know, man. Like, he's saying, like, I'm tired of people, like, being a good wrestler, not enough. I mean, you have a good character, like you say, like, that even if people will care about you. You know what I mean? If we have, like, Brady, like, they kill Brady. Like, Brady is wrestler.
Oh, they ruined her. She had such a good thing in NXT, and they killed her on the main roster.
Yep. Like, Brady could have been the next John Cena.
Oh, 100%. She's the only person, the only wrestler in, like, nowadays that could pull off the squeaky clean baby face, like the total white meat baby face, and it would make sense. And then they bring her to the main roster and job her out, and she's done. She comes out to nothing now. When she comes out of the backstage area, it's like it's flatter than a plate full of piss. It's fucking horrible. And like, she used to get such big pops, and now it's nothing.
And like, you know, funny though, like Allie, like, I will say Allie is a Brady wannabe, but Allie is a better version of a Brady. Am I correct?
I think she has more range for sure. Like Allie has more range than Bayley does, because at least Allie now is kind of has this bit of a mean streak.
Yep, he does. Yeah, and now Allie is more tough, right?
Yes.
Bayley is like tough. She has to be. You know what I mean? So it's like again, the Impact really does a good job of making the knockouts feel different, unique, and they have a character to them. Not only I would say they are different, right? Like I said, Chester. He's an Danish wrestler. Kill Hogan. Go on fire.
Yeah.
Savage. You know what I mean?
But you can look at all of them, and they're all recognizable. They're all different looking. They perform differently. They move differently and talk differently. It's not a cookie cutter. You know, everybody comes up from the back and they're all 5'2" and blonde hair.
Yep, exactly. That's it. All are different. For example, Allie is more like a soft girl, but she will get tough if she has to. Rosemary is like a demon. Sienna is a tough chick who will beat your ass.
Yes.
Tyler is like a witch, but she will beat your ass. She is different. What else? Taxman or celebrity. What else? They have women who are different, right? They're different. You can tell who, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Nobody trying to be like the best. You're trying to get better. You know what I mean?
And then,
so it's cool. Like,
yeah, and that's the way that they have to go. They have to be different, and they have to. Yeah, they just have to make the knockouts a big deal instead of just a tagline. And I think the direction that they're going, that they are definitely headed in the right direction.
Yeah, I know I do it. The past 4 weeks, the knockouts have been giving us some good matches. The best matches.
Oh, I agree. The Rosemary Taya Valkyrie match from, what was that, 2 weeks ago? That Demon's Dance match, That was incredible. That was a great piece of television.
Yeah, that's a good match. Holy shit! Like, I was shocked when Rosemary High Driver.
Yeah, off the second rope through the table.
Oh, damn!
Yeah, that was crazy, man. Yeah, I jumped out of my seat at home. I was like, "Fuck! I can't believe they did it."
Stuff like that you will see in a company. You will see that in a company.
No, because what you'll see in a different company is shit outside the ring or some stupid apron spot or whatever. Like, ugh, over that. Next.
Man, like, crazy, like. And then none of that. The last match I had was Ali versus Sienna. It was a good match.
That was on that Twitch show?
Yeah.
Well, that Havoc match you said was good.
Like, you have so many good knockout matches for past 4 weeks. Like, you're killing it. Best promos, best matches. It was main eventing.
Yeah, and they mean something. It's not fluff. It's not your bathroom break. Right? The matches mean something.
It's organic.
Yes, exactly.
Organic. The keyword organic.
And you're invested as a fan. You actually care about, okay, I want to see where this is going.
Exactly. Exactly, right? I feel like the inner company like to push history. Oh, it's the first time they do it, the first time. Okay, so what? First time. Tell you why I should care about the whole match. You know what I mean? Like, don't tell me what history. History means nothing.
Yeah.
Right? Like back in the day when TNA did that stuff, they did it because it was real. You know what I mean? Now WWE wants to be cool.
Yeah, but it's just, I feel like it's more of just, it's a PR thing, right? It's not like, because they don't have any real care for it. You can tell by the way that they structure the matches, too. There's no way you can tell me that, quote-unquote, women's wrestling matters, and then you have a fucking 8 women tag match every week, and it's 4 minutes long and nobody gets over. Like, come on.
That's bad. Even tag match is bad for them. Like, come on.
Well, yeah. Even like I think they're running like 4 weeks in a row of six woman tags. It's like, come on, you guys. And they're like 4-minute matches. So what is that? Everybody gets the quick little whatever spots in that don't even look good, and then what? You're left with nothing. So
that is bad because like just last year you're getting good, and then now it's like they don't know what to do. Like breaking in has to be used great. Sasha Banks has been used terribly.
I think she's a terrible wrestler myself, but that's my personal opinion.
Sasha Banks?
Yeah, Sasha Banks. I think she just ragdolls way too much.
I like her, but she's a bit unsafe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anyways, forget them. But back to Impact because this is an Impact podcast. So, anyways, yeah, like the Knockouts have been doing great right now. I can't wait to see what they're doing tomorrow. I think that definitely we need more Knockouts. I think they should sign Q&A.
Yes.
Q&A got signed to WWE and she got released.
Yeah, they should get on her. And I'd like to see them bring back Mia Yim myself, actually. She was so good there, and I think she'd just be another name, right? Even if you're going to use her to get whoever over or further a storyline, like, just she's really, really good. I really do think that. So
I like her too, but I feel like she left Impact to go to WWE, and they still signed her. So it's like, wow, really?
yeah. Yeah, unfortunately, that's the risk you take. So,
yeah. But yeah, definitely, if she come back, I'll definitely be happy. Definitely, yeah. Yeah, she come back. They should sign Taylor Garrett, sign what's her name? That girl from Japan. Oh my god.
oh, I know who you're talking about. Lo Cherie, is that it? No, that's not it.
No, and next month. And she's friends with Katie Zane.
Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. Somebody will throw it on the YouTube page or something. Usually that's what happens when I make a mistake.
Okay. Yeah, like I think that they can sign what's her name? Rebel. That cowgirl gimmick.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah, she was in TV for a while back in the day. Yeah, so bring her back. You can bring back Arthur Kong.
Yeah, Awesome Kong would be good. Even ODB would be good.
Yeah.
She's just a different character.
Yeah. You can bring back that girl from GIW, Christina Von Airy, I think her name.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Yeah, bring her back and bring back that 10 team. What's his name? Wayne Lasham. You guys who did all your early stuff.
Yeah.
And they can bring back so many people.
And then again, like we were saying before, I think, in that 6 to 8 month range, you're going to really see them have enough talent to where it's like, okay, this is the spot to be for women's professional wrestling. And I think that if you're trying to be different and you're trying to do something, you can't, sorry about that, you can't be great at everything. But if you can focus on 2 or 3 things and be great at those, I think women's wrestling is definitely one that should be focused on.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that right now they should focus on the single title and stay away from the knockout tag title.
Yeah, it's too early for that.
Yeah.
Maybe in a year.
Let them get a bigger roster and see what they can do. Then they bring back the titles.
Yeah. You got to see what you have first in the cupboard before you can make that kind of a move. And again, you don't want to just throw people together and be a tag team. You kind of want to you want organic teams that make sense and mean something. It's not just like, you can't just, for example, throw, we'll just say Sienna and Su Yung together because it doesn't make any sense, right? There needs to be organic teams. There needs to be a reason why they're a team. And if you could actually bring in women's teams that tag or have tagged with each other for years, that's the way to go. But yeah, I think they're about a year out still from being in a position to bring in the women's tag titles back, or Knockouts tag titles, I should say instead.
I like that one. Yep. What do you think about Eli Drake and Pentagon?
This one's a coin flip for me. I almost kind of need to see this match end in a DQ, to be honest, because I think Pentagon has that international draw that they're looking for. Like they're really focusing on the international aspect of the business, where I think you need a non-American champion as the face of your company right now, just in terms of a global marketing standpoint. But Eli Drake is money. And I don't see how you could just beat him and then what? So I kind of think that this match should, and I mean, I said that the other one shouldn't have ended the way it did, and they went in a totally different direction. So hopefully they do something impressive here too. But I can't see Eli Drake taking a loss on this one, and I can't see Pentagon dropping the title right now either.
Yeah. Maybe, I think Pentagon might win, but I think that maybe Eli Drake loses by accident.
Yeah, I could see that, yeah.
And maybe a Papa Pump comes in and tries to help Eli Drake, but ends up costing the title.
Yeah, and then you could split those guys or do whatever there too. So
yeah, but I think now Pentagon right now is good. Good, I like him.
Yeah, they got to run with him for a little bit, I think.
Yeah, they have to, man.
Yeah,
because he is a big time player, big time guy.
And I think that you're only going to see his matches really hit the stride and impact that they can if he has a longer title reign. Like if he carries into Bound for Glory, for example, like that's the way they should go, in my opinion. Could you imagine him performing at Bound for Glory if they can sell that place out? Would be dynamite. That place would be rocking.
Yeah.
And he's the guy who could go into an environment like that and put on a clinic. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I think that and I think you might see Pentagon, Eli Drake, and the Arch Aliens in a tricky trip.
I could see that.
That
yeah.
might happen. Right, that might happen.
I could definitely see that.
Moose. You can feel like Moose needs a title shot.
I think that he's going to get one. I don't know when a good time is. I don't know if he needs one before Bound for Glory. I think he's got to. Yeah, I don't know. He needs something. I don't know what something is, but he needs something before he goes on a title run. He needs one more real good feud before he goes on a title run, I think.
Yeah, okay. Right now, Mr. Timberlake, he promo all get better. He feels more happy. He feels like he's him.
And his promos are way better lately.
So much energy. Like, you can see from it when he talks. You know that he's happy. He's ready to go.
And even, yeah, just everything. The way his matches are now, you just tell it. Like you said, yeah, you can just tell that he's happy and wants to be there. And they're finally letting him be a big player. And, it definitely shows in his matches.
It's not like Bobby Lashley where he just happy to be there. He moves, you know that he's happy to be there. You know, because he's putting the energy into his promo. He's talking better. He feels it. Like, you can feel what he's saying.
Exactly.
You know? Moves.
Yeah, and the crowd loves it.
Yeah.
And even on independent shows that he goes to, it's the same thing. Right, the crowd right away, as soon as that music hits, it's the moose, right? So,
exactly. Guys like that can help Impact get more fans. You know what I mean?
Yes, you need guys like that, 100%. Homegrown talent. I know he originally was from Ring of Honor, but he really has found his stride in Impact. And yeah, guys like that, 100%. You need to be able to keep around and build your company around for sure.
Mm-hmm. I feel like Ring of Honor kind of messed up with him.
Yeah, they didn't book him very well at all.
Yeah.
But that was back in the... What was that? That would have been 2012? Around there, I think. That whole 2010 to 2014 14 era was pretty bleak with them anyways.
Yes.
So not surprising that they would have dropped the ball on that one, but oh well, their loss is definitely Impact's gain. I will say that for sure.
Yeah. Look at Michael Bennett. Michael Bennett stayed Impact for a year, but it's a big impact compared to Ring of Honor.
Yeah. So I don't know what. Yeah. See if he ever comes back or whatever too, I guess, but yeah. Well, do you want to wrap this thing up then?
Yeah, sure.
So you want to throw out any plugs before you get out of here? You want to plug your Twitter? Or you want me to do it? I'll do it for you.
Yeah.
Alright, so everybody can do me a favor and follow my man Jimmy here at Jimmy Ya Dig. That's on Twitter. And you've got a ton of different content you put up on there. You talk a ton of wrestling. You talk a ton of politics. You are super in tune with the world, as it were. So I always like reading your stuff, man. I very much enjoy it. So.
Thank you, man. Sometimes you have to just read it, right? Be yourself, right?
Exactly. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, so,
All right. Well, thank you very much for joining me on the program tonight, and we definitely gonna have to have you on again. Once again, everybody, give Jimmy a follow at Jimmy Ya Dig, and that is on Twitter. All right. Before we get out of here for tonight, just once again want to thank my guest Jimmy. You can find him again at Twitter, and I really do encourage you to follow him at Jimmy Ya Dig. JIMMYYYADIG. The dude's a class act, 100%, and you're gonna get a little bit of politics, you're gonna get a bit of wrestling, you're gonna get a bit of life experiences. Just the guy's money. Go give him a follow. Tell him Six sent you for sure. So I also just want to reiterate what I was talking about at the start of the show, and that's the direction that I want to take this show. Now, I would appreciate quite a bit of feedback from you guys on this, so please leave me a comment on the YouTube page or shoot me a message on Twitter, whether a DM or just to me, or email me, sixsidepod@gmail.com, because I'm not sure which way to go, and I would really like your guys' input, because effectively, if you guys aren't listening to me, then there's really no point in doing this thing. I really don't like to hear myself talk, to be perfectly honest with you. So, anyways, it's in regards to the direction of the show. So, I have two ideas. Well, I guess three, because I'm doing one right now. So I'm going to lay these out for you guys, and you guys give me your feedback, what you would like to see happen with the show, essentially. So, the first one would be to keep it the same, to do the weekly reviews and do my 4 thoughts and kind of keep the flow going as it is. Obviously now it's going to be a little bit easier in the next few weeks now that my move to the new house is done. I'll be offloading the old house and this, that, and the other thing. But so that's option 1. Option 2, I was thinking about doing a once a month review. So for example, June 1st, boom, there's a Six-Sided Podcast reviewing the main storylines and transactions and transgressions that happened during the month of May in Impact Wrestling. So instead of being an episodic review, it would be more of a company direction review, where I would talk about the main storylines coming out of that month, anybody coming into the company, anybody who's made their debuts, if there's been any departures, that kind of thing. I'm not entirely sure how that one would work just yet, and I've been playing around with that one in my head for a little bit here, but to me, there's so many good weekly reviews of Impact Wrestling. For example, my buddy Robert from Robert Does Wrestling is tremendous every single week. The guy just does a great job. Keith and Matt from the Clock Cleaners podcast is another one. And obviously, you know, I really dig Ro and the guys from the Impact Lounge. Like, there's a ton of great, and I've actually just been getting into the DPW guys. Shout out to you guys as well. There's so much good, or so many good Impact weekly podcasters that I don't know if doing a weekly show makes sense. Not that I don't like doing it, but just as because it's done quite a bit, and it's done very, very well. Is the other problem? Not problem, obviously. You know, the more talent, the better, right? That's not the way I meant it. What I meant was, you know, I feel like I can focus my efforts better if I'm in a different direction. Obviously, if you guys would prefer me to do the weekly one, hey, I'm all for it, and let's do it. But if it's monthly, that's kind of the direction that I would want to go. And my third idea is essentially to do maybe a weekly or a bi-weekly episode, not so much reviewing an episode, but focusing in on something. For example, like with what Jimmy and myself had intended to do with the Rosemary and Su Yung portion of that one Impact Wrestling, this would be a program where I would focus on one specific either incident or storyline or character and just do a deep dive for an hour or whatever. Hopefully get somebody on with me that could talk about said character and just kind of do it that way. And instead of doing a review, do more of a synopsis. I guess those are kind of the same thing, but not necessarily. And just look towards the direction of where this character or storyline or whatever is going. So those are kind of my three ideas. And like I said, I would really, really, really appreciate all of your guys' feedback. So please, please, please leave me a message on YouTube here. Hit me on Twitter at 6_podcast. Shoot me an email, sixsidepod@gmail.com. I really want to hear from you guys. I will not make any changes to the show until I'm comfortable that I've had enough interaction and a clear and concise path to go. So don't get it twisted that I'm going to, change everything on the fly. And also, no, I'm not stopping this podcast. It's not going anywhere. I just had some hiccups over the past few weeks, as you can imagine, with, my kids and moving and yada, 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 whatever. Life kind of gets in the way, unfortunately. So that's kind of the way it goes, as you can imagine. And again, with that being said, honestly, I couldn't do this thing every week if you guys weren't so invested. So I have tons of interaction every week from a lot of you guys. I've mentioned a ton of you before, but, from Jimmy, from Fantasia, from Cody, from Andre, from, Robert's a Rockstar, like I said, Keith and Matt, I talk to them quite often. Today, for example, I had posted something in regards to black wrestlers in the WWE, and I had a ton of great feedback in regards to the tweet, so I'm going to also shout out We Want Wrestling and motherfucking Mark, because we had some great back and forth, actually, in regards to that topic. If you missed it, go on my Twitter, join the discussion. I think it's a relevant point of view. And, clearly I'm not black. Well, I mean, not clearly, because I don't think that outside of Jimmy, maybe nobody on this program has seen me. And, yeah, although that'll change soon enough. But it's something I was thinking about the other day, and then this whole Lashley shit happened, and I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go with this one. So, anyways, I digress a little bit. Wanted to give those guys a little shout out, but just generally speaking, you guys make this thing fun, and I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun. I'll be completely honest with you, and yeah, just what else can I say outside of that? So once again, I'm going to just pop our social media accounts. So on YouTube, you can use that wonderful search bar, type in Six Side Podcast. You'll see us pop up. If you're not a subscriber, I highly recommend you do it. If nothing else, you get your name mentioned on the show. But honestly, it makes me feel like at least we're progressing somewhere, and either we're damn near close to or we're over 50, which is hell of impressive considering I'm essentially a nobody coming into this thing. So definitely want to subscribe to us on there. Leave your comments. I hope you like us. And also follow us on Twitter at 6_podcast. We're in the process of breaking 800, which is, again, pretty impressive considering, once again, I'm essentially a nobody. And I'm honestly flabbergasted and blown away a lot of the time. So thank you all very much for that. You can also please send your comments, concerns, or criticisms, hopefully positive, because that helps me improve, to sixsidepod@gmail.com. And I answer everybody, whether you hit me on YouTube, whether you email me, whether you get me on Twitter. I answer everybody. I don't miss anything. If you follow me, I follow you back. That's kind of my whole mantra as we try and grow this thing. So with all that being said, for myself, and once again for Jimmy, and today of all days, it especially bears true, take care of yourselves and each other. Good night, everyone, and thanks for sticking with us.